Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, did indeed feature the return of Michael Myers. It takes place 10 years after the events of the first film, and is truly the return to form that the fans wanted. It once again takes place in Haddonfield, and Michael's back, of course. Loomis is back. Laurie, however, is not back. We learn that Laurie died in a car crash and left her daughter, Jamie, an orphan left in the care of some close relatives. And the basic plot of the movie is that Michael Myers wants to kill Jamie. I never really understood why it was so important for Michael to off his family members, but hey, let's just go with it. You may have to suspend your disbelief with certain aspects of the movie, like the explosion from Part 2 just left Michael in a coma and left Dr. Loomis horribly burned, but it was a pretty big fucking explosion, and I'm pretty sure Michael's eyes were shot out of his skull, but there's no sense in complaining, really. Michael's back. This is a sequel that gets back to the basics. It has what you'd expect from a Halloween movie, with Michael stalking around and doing his killings. It isn't quite a retread. It does bring some new things to the table, like some good standout action scenes, like the chase on the rooftop and Michael attacking the characters on the truck. So all that's pretty cool. There's plenty of things to like about the movie. I can't say I was a big fan of Michael's mask, though. It looks really weird this time around, and he almost looks like a monkey or something. I didn't really care for that. It was kind of weird. And I thought it was odd how Michael has even more powerful super strength in this one. It's like they're trying to compete with Jason. But this doesn't really feel like a Friday the 13th movie. Those movies were much more cheesy, and Halloween 4 isn't really all too cheesy, at least not in the same way. If anything, it's more soap operatic than anything else. You got decade-long comas, long-lost nieces, even a little love triangle thrown into the mix, so come on, that's pretty close to a soap opera. I have to admit, though, there's one thing I really disliked about this movie, and I know there are many people who will strongly disagree, but I absolutely hated Danielle Harris's performance as Jamie. I know, so many fans praise her work and say she's such a talented child star, but whatever these people are smoking, please pass me some, because I just don't see it. I thought she was terrible. She's annoying, she overacts, and I just hate her stupid little face. I hate her. Is it wrong to hate a child actor this much? I don't know, but I apologize to any Danielle Harris's fans out there. Just my opinion. The good news is that while watching it again recently, I've found that her role isn't quite as large as I remember it being. She's not really front and center, so I can't say it took away from my enjoyment of the movie. Halloween 4 is actually kind of an ensemble piece, really. There are a lot of characters that get their fair share of screen time. You have Jamie, but you have Dr. Loomis, you have Rachel, you have her boyfriend, the sheriff's daughter. They all eventually cross paths and have to band together to fight off Michael. So I thought everything came together extremely well, and the climax was very satisfying. Michael takes about 1 billion bullet shots, and should probably be good and dead, but we know better. We know he's not dead, but what I really liked about the ending to Halloween 4 was that it doesn't have Michael popping up for one last scare like you might expect. Instead, it shows Jamie murdering her stepmother in cold blood, mirroring Michael's killing from the very first film. It's shocking, confusing, scary, and a very, very good ending that leaves you hungry for a sequel. Halloween 4 has its faults. I definitely wouldn't say it's perfect, but for the most part, I really liked it. It's a very enjoyable sequel that delivers just about everything a fan could want, and more. Verdict? See it. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, is set 1 year after Halloween 4, and as it opens we find out that Michael is still alive. Surprise, surprise, and for whatever reason his mask has changed completely. But anyway, an old hermit nurses Michael back to health, and he basically takes a year-long nap until it's time for Halloween. And time to kill again. We see that Jamie and her stupid little face is now in a children's hospital, and she has some kind of psychic link with Michael, which may explain why she committed that brutal murder at the end of Part 4. She's also become a mute now, which would be a plus in my book, but turns out she's just as annoying, if not more annoying, without the power of speech. Loomis is back too. He's been watching over Jamie, just waiting with a lingering fear in his heart that Michael is still alive and looking to make a return. He senses that something is up and expects the worst, and the usual bullshit ensues. So, what happens in this one? First of all, the Rachel character is killed off, surprisingly early on, which is kind of a bummer, but it's not like she was all that great of a character anyway. The only problem is that we get some really annoying characters in this one. Halloween 5 has collectively assembled the most annoying damn characters of the entire franchise. Jamie and her stuttering boyfriend are annoying. Tina and her stupid friends are really annoying. Even the cops are annoying, and what the hell is up with the music that plays when the cops are on screen anyway? We do have Donald Pleasence again, which is a plus, but even he seems just tired of the series at this point. He doesn't really have anything unique to do or say than the typical Michael is evil, we have to stop him, blah 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 kind of dialogue. Though he does have one good scene where he gives a big speech to Michael near the end, so I like that scene. But none of the new characters are interesting at all. We get some scenes with this mysterious man in black walking around town. Who is this guy anyway? Johnny Cash? Tommy Lee Jones? And what's the deal with that mark on his wrist that Michael seems to have as well? All these questions and more are never actually answered in this movie, so you're gonna have to wait for the sequel. That's kind of the problem with this movie. It doesn't really offer anything all too unique to the series. It's basically the same stuff as Part 4, but Part 4 was done so much better, and it leaves a lot of dangling questions that are more confusing than intriguing. I wouldn't say it's a terrible entry in the series. It does have some decent kills sprinkled throughout, and I like the scene with Jamie in the laundry chute, and there's one part where Tina thinks Michael is her boyfriend because he's wearing a goofy mask, and that was kind of reminiscent of him wearing the sheet over himself from the first movie, which was cool. But overall, it's actually kind of pointless, and to be honest, a little boring. It's one of the lesser entries in the series. Verdict? Meh.